Hey there, Justin from Ujoint Offroad in Colorado here again. So you're getting two educational videos from me this week. So this one's going to be talking a little bit about another question I get quite often is how to build one of these Ujoint Offroad Class Cs for as cheap as possible while not having to skimp on anything. And this one here is just a perfect example of that. So this is our buddy Dave. We just built this for him, and you know, he was very conscious about what he was spending on getting just exactly the right rig and not having to skimp on any of the four-wheel drive stuff, but not going crazy with a bunch of extras, you know, that he didn't absolutely need for his use case. So what Dave's going to be doing with this is going to just serve basically as his retirement rig. And you know, that's a lot of the folks that we're building these for here out west are folks that, you know, work their entire career. They've been saving up for something just like this. You know, they're just normal folks and they don't want to break the bank. So Dave did that very wisely here. So what we've got is a 2020 E450 Thor 4Winds 28A. So what Dave did was he specifically sought out one of these retired El Monte RV rentals. And, you know, depending on what part of the country you're from, I'm sure you've seen these things all over the place out on summer road trips. But it seems like they kind of take them out of rotation right at about 30,000 miles and then sell them off in the aftermarket. So Dave found this rig for like right at around 60,000 miles, I think. It's got right at 30,000 miles on it. Like I said, it's a 2020 chassis, so it's got the 7.3 Godzilla. It's got the 6R140 in it, so everything we look for. And then he brought it to us for just our basic four-wheel drive conversion. Nothing else, no extras, anything like that. And that runs about 32 to 35 grand out the door, depending on a few different things. So, you know, you're in this thing under 100 grand. Which is, you know, way cheaper than the starting price on most other Class Cs. And, you know, this is a big unit, but some people need that for how they're gonna travel. And this thing is great too because it also has no slides. So that's what we talked about in our mini Winnie video. No slides, that's a big one about what makes these things really last and not have a bunch of stuff that you're having to fix all the time. Is doing no slides. So we'll dive into a little bit about what we did to this one, and this will be a good explanation of like what our base price includes. So base price is out the door as you see it, 32 to 35 grand depending on a few different things for most modern 7.3 Godzilla motorhomes. So standard 6-inch four-wheel drive conversion. Frame gets all cleaned up and painted. Custom spec Alcan springs to the weight of your vehicle. Single Fox 2.0s. All of our RV builds get our big stage 3 front axle. 456 gears, Detroit True Track in the front. And then all the Dynatrac, big 14.5-inch rotors. We do the American Racing Baja wheels. 17x9. With the 285 7017 Falcon Wild Peak. We can do a bunch of different brands on these, but our favorite out here is these Wild Peaks because they seem to do the best in the snow. So all the RV kits, they also include big Hellwig front and rear sway bars, either a slip yoke or a flanged NP1128 transfer case. Brand new drive shafts front and back. This one is a 2-piece. And then a 1350 CV front drive shaft, brand new as well. Then we cut the stock front bumper to allow for tire clearance. And then on ones that are getting a stock bumper put back on it, we do our frame brace back behind there. So the ones we put our bumper on, we don't have to put that brace on there because the bumper acts as the brace, but the stock bumper doesn't have enough structure to it for what we need, so we add that plate on there. On the base conversions, Just got the shifter coming up through the floor right there. And then we've got the 4x4 indicator light right there on the dashboard. Everything else works. We reprogram the speedo to be dead accurate. And then we also reprogram the tire pressure monitor system to trigger at a much lower pressure, because these things from the factory, they want like 80 PSI in the tires. And in most cases, you really only need about 65 in them, which would trigger a light. And then also for our customers that air down and everything, you can air them down to like 30 PSI without triggering a tire pressure light. So you can still use that TPMS system when you're off-road at lower pressures. So in the back, in most cases, these things have 456 gears in the Dana 70 HD that comes with them in the back, which is a great axle. No need to swap it out. We do have locker upgrade options available for that. Of course, it gets the big Hellwig sway bar in the back as well. Direct mount sway bar links, and then the single Fox 2.0s. And then the springs are built to whatever rear weight the coach happens to be. So we have everybody get their rigs weighed, and we build the springs per each project. So in the back, what we do is we do, these are Dodge 3500 dually steel wheels. The factory, they come with 16s, but the E-Series have this really big hub bore that nobody really makes an aftermarket wheel for. And we found a few years ago that if we went up to a 17-inch dually rear wheel, it opened up a lot more options on tire brands, because we used to just be stuck with a Toyo mud terrain. So this has worked really well for us, and this is what we're doing on all of our builds now, for the most part. So base conversion includes 5 of these wheels, and then of course 5 of the dually tires as well, 1 for a spare, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So the rear tire size is a 255/80/17. And then we do these little extended dually tire adapters also, so it makes airing up and airing down the inners and outers a lot easier, because that's one of the biggest drawbacks of a dually wheel. And then nothing else for extras on this. The spare is inside the rear storage compartment. It fit back there in the factory location. And that's that. So, like I said, really good value. It's a great rig. It drives awesome. I think, you know, it's just speculation on my part, but I think these ones that are built by Thor, because it seems like Thor builds most of them for the rental companies, I think they do a better job on the ones that are going out into rental service, so they don't just immediately fall apart. But that's what we're looking at. Thor 28A, retired El Monte RV rental. So I would suspect these things are gonna just continue to come down in price. And this is a really good option. If you're considering, you know, going into like, you know, a $200,000+ four-wheel drive Super C that has the same kind of box built on the back, but it's just, you're really chasing the four-wheel drive, this is a really, really, really good alternative to that, and save yourself a lot of money. So if you have any questions for me, email me, justin@ujointoffroad.com. If you're inquiring about install in North Carolina or a DIY kit, email chris@ujointoffroad.com. Thank you.